Hello everyone, my name is Ahmed and I'm here to share work conducted with Bryan, Coranna Howard, and Klew Still. Our paper is titled Online Community-Based Design of Free and Open Source Software for Transgender Voice Training. So what is transgender voice training? When we talk about transgender voice, we are talking in general about a transgender person's experience of their speaking voice. These experiences vary widely. Some choose to or are able to pursue formalized voice training to change the way their voices sound in some way. Others don't. Those who do pursue it could be aiming for a higher or lower pitch or a more consistent or variable pitch. It could also be the more complex task of changing the way one's speaking voice resonates. It can be very distressing to feel like your voice doesn't represent you, or that it opens you up to being identified as transgender against your will and potentially harassed or assaulted. None of these are universal experiences, but it is a persistent issue that people can come up against in their day-to-day life, regardless of whether they choose to pursue voice training or not. Over half of transgender women, or about 62%, are interested in voice training or have done it. Professional therapists and specialists are an option for those who can afford or access them, but there are also a number of online resources that aim to support trans people in working on their voices. So how might we go about building a supportive and affirming voice training app for trans people? I want to share a window into our community-based design process in which I attempted to dissolve, or at the very least minimize, artificial barriers between researcher and participant. I started an online organization which we eventually named Project Spectra. During recruitment, I stressed that no participation was required or even expected based on their membership in the group. Because people had full control over how much they involved themselves, participation varied to occasionally joining group meetings to sustained involvement over the course of several months. The entire design process ran for about a year and a half. To get a sense of who Project Spectra was, I informally polled members last month and asked them to voluntarily share their demographic information. Of the 9 respondents, the mean age was 29, and gender identities varied widely, included trans women, non-binary, and gender-questioning people. Racially, people identified themselves as white, Asian, and mixed or multiracial. Responses for economic class tended toward more economic and financial security or status. Most members had some college education, but it ranged from high school to a master's degree in computer science. All conversations on the group were conducted in English, but members were distributed across North America, Europe, and East Asia. Together, we designed and developed a free and open source mobile app in the JavaScript-based framework NativeScript Vue. The app features real-time pitch tracking, as seen in the screenshot on the left, and a visualization which takes into account the user's personal voice goals, as seen on the right. Our app not only addresses limitations in existing apps, but our design process was a departure over how interactive systems are currently made within the context of human-centered design. That's because we didn't just source our design requirements from the community we hope to serve. We were the community that we hope to serve. We emphasized care, affirmation, and user control throughout the design, using text-based feedback, encouragement text, and the inclusion of the user's own goal. We shift our language to describe voice ranges by using masculine and feminine rather than male and female. Rather than base our feedback in gendered language, such as "your voice sounds male," we center the user's own choices. So we created something. But it would be too easy for me to end this story here, and it wouldn't be the whole truth. In fact, our process was not perfect. I personally encountered challenges involving my own role within the team. I found myself playing the role of a supporter and facilitator in addition to a programmer and designer, and became a de facto leader despite my intention for our group to be non-hierarchical. My academic position also strongly influenced the direction of the work. The fact that I was under deadlines to complete my dissertation played a role in that I found myself stifling the unique ideas of others who wanted to create new and different apps rather than the one I just showed you. I argue that community-based design processes have to be disconnected from academic timelines and deliverables to the fullest extent possible. Finally, I think it's important to evaluate our design processes in addition to the artifacts we build. The reflection I just shared with you is guided by feminist epistemologies, which consider experience a crucial source of data. Attending to these experiences, as well as the personal, political, and institutional context in which we work, is essential if we are to challenge harmful power dynamics that arise within them. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm happy to take questions.